Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I am an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. Make sure to check in the description below for links to all my online shenanigans, including how you can get my patterns to knit up for yourself, how to join the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group, and how to support me on Patreon. And today there will be links to A Good Yarn Sarasota and where you can sign up for my live classes via Zoom, because that is what I want to talk to y'all about today. This is the last video of the year, and we have been busily planning the upcoming year, including planning out 3 full months of classes in collaboration with A Good Yarn Sarasota, which is where I work. This is something I've mentioned before. I'm so grateful to Susan, the owner of A Good Yarn, to have given me this opportunity to have this platform to be able to offer live classes. It is a development that has been, made possible by the prevalence of Zoom being used in, everything, our day-to-day life, it becoming something super common. So what it is it's a way for me to offer live classes digitally through the Zoom interface. And I've taken a little break, and now we're getting back into it. So the way it works is, if you want to take one of my classes, you go to the A Good Yarn Sarasota website, which I will link below, and click on the classes button, and you will see a list of the upcoming classes offered. Now, she has other classes that are through the store with other teachers, but she has given me a time slot, and I will be teaching every Tuesday night. So every Tuesday night, and not really night, every Tuesday early evening. So on Tuesdays from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I will be teaching a 1-hour class. Now, I'm considering and thinking of these classes as sort of low brain power classes. I know that there's a lot on all of our minds, and we all don't necessarily have the time to devote to a really intense kind of class. Some of them are a little more intense than others. So it's just honing in and focusing in on one subject and doing what we can to wrap our brains around that one subject in the course of an hour. I don't try to cover too much. There's time for a little bit of laughing and a little bit of chatting, and sometimes we run over into like the 5:30 range, but it's a lot of fun, and I truly, truly enjoy actually getting to talk to the people on the other side of this computer, because I love chatting with y'all in the comments, and I really feel like I've actually gotten to know some of y'all through those kind of interactions, and between that and people coming over to the Facebook group and chatting, I start recognizing names that jump across platforms and even onto Ravelry, and having y'all show up in Zoom where I can see your face and I can actually say something, and then you can say something back, or I can say something and then you can ask a question. It's just a totally different dynamic, and it really makes things really enjoyable. So if you enjoy my videos, but you've ever had a video of mine where you're like, I wish I could pause and ask her a question and she could clarify something that she said because it didn't make sense, or you just needed more, this is the time. So what it is it's via Zoom. So it's the little Brady Bunch situation where everybody's in their own little squares. And if it's a video where there's actual knitting, I have this guy here. So I have this. You see this? So it's like this, I put my phone in and I point it at my desk with a white piece of paper behind it. And this will be my iPhone, and it will also be logged in as a student as a different thing so that you can then watch that and see what my hands are doing, and I can be talking at the same time. So that is how the Zoom classes work. You go to the website, you sign up for it. The day before the class, you'll receive an email that has the Zoom link, and it will usually have a handout attached so you can print that handout out and be ready for the class and not be trying to scramble and print out during the class. Because they're hour-long classes, they're not extensive handouts, but they are handouts. So I figured instead of telling you all, because we've planned out 3 months, instead of telling you all 3 months at a time, I thought I'd do a different video so that you can just plan the upcoming month. So this coming month, starting on January 5th, the first class is, the official name of it is Yarn Labels and Substitutions 101. So what it is the class is going to talk about looking at your pattern and being able to evaluate and write down what yarn you need for the pattern. What yarn does that pattern call for, and understanding what that yarn is, taking a look at it, yarn yardage, weight, things like that. Then when you get to your shopping, being able to look at a yarn label and interpret the information on the yarn label and compare it to what your pattern is calling for and whether or not those things jive, which is where we will get into making substitutions. Now, I could teach a 3-hour class on substitution, so we're not getting terribly in depth, but this will get you going and get you in the right direction to help you pick out yarns for your projects. Okay? So that is January 5th. Then January 12th is going to be a cast-on class. We will go over some basic cast-ons and some not so basic cast-ons and just have fun learning cast-on techniques with, we're going to have needles and yarn. There's not going to be any homework for that one because we're going to be casting on. But we'll be doing casting on and then frogging it out, and then casting on and then frogging it out, and just doing that so that we have those new techniques. The following Tuesday, January 19th, will be bind-offs, because that was logical. And what we'll do is we will do some bind-offs. We'll do some common bind-offs, and then we'll do some not-so-common bind-offs so we can have some fun. And in both the cast-on and the bind-off class, I'll talk about different kinds of bind-offs and what they're really good for. And the biggest thing is every single one of these classes is always different from the previous time I taught it, because there are different students and they ask different questions. And a lot of times some of the most interesting things come from my answers to questions, because it's things that I didn't even think of to mention. So that is always a lot of fun. And then the final Tuesday night class in January, the 26th, is going to be increases. So we will go over the most common increases and how to do them, and then possibly get into a few more exotic increases. We'll also talk about how increases are used in patterns. So again, it's only an hour, so you can't get a huge amount of information. Again, all these subjects I could probably do hours on. You know how that is. And just so you know, we don't have the next Friday, so it will be the first week of February, is going to be decreases, which is going to be the exact same class as increases, only with decreases, if that makes sense. So we're going to go yarn labels and substitutions, cast-ons, bind-offs, increases, decreases, and then we'll be getting into February, and I'll let you know what those other classes are. Or you can check with a Good Yarn Sarasota website, and she will be getting them further out as she schedules them. Now, there's one other class I want to mention, which it is not a Tuesday night class. It is a Saturday class, and this class is going to be a 2.5-hour class. You're gonna need your brain power for it, but there's no knitting in it because it is my Block Like a Pro class. So this is my blocking class. It is quite possibly my favorite class I teach, because I I just don't think it's a subject that people think about as much. And I definitely think it's a subject that people don't think about as much as I think about it. So this blocking class, it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. All of these are Eastern time because that's where we are. And so it's in the morning through into lunch. Originally it was only 2 hours, but I had her extend it to 12:30 because we just end up talking and answering questions. Now, this is the blocking class. And I haven't come up with a better way to describe this class as far as the name of it, because really the focus on this class is blocking, but it's blocking and how it affects every step of your project from conception to the end. And so this class could also be called Planning a Successful Project. It could be called any number of things because, yes, I talk about blocking. I talk about blocking techniques. I talk about blocking tools. I talk about why you should block and the rare instances when you probably don't want to block. But there's also a huge section where I talk about fibers, fiber content, and how fibers react to blocking and how that affects what yarns you should use for what types of patterns. And then I talk about blocking and how blocking is different for different types of fabrics, be it lace or cables. And I talk about blocking and what kind of blocking tricks and things you need to do based on the type of project. So we talk about fibers, we talk about fabrics, we talk about projects, we talk about tools. It is really just an extensive class. It does have a fairly, I think it's a 4 or 5 page handout that you will receive. And it is just, I love the class. I love blocking and I love thinking about knitting in that way. So again, that is on the Saturday. Now the Tuesday night classes are 1 hour and they're $10 a piece. You sign up for the class, it costs $10. So that is that. The blocking class is $55. It is longer, it's more in depth, it has a lot more information in it, but it has a lot of information in it. So I will put all the links in the description below. I don't think I can link each class directly, but I can link to a Good Yarn Sarasota. You click classes, and I'm going to also dig up, because I'm pretty sure I did an earlier video that shows you how to use the classroom reservation software, and I will link to that as well. So as you are planning your plan of attack for January, for the first month of 2021, you might want to consider what you want to learn. And if you want to start having some fun learning new knitting things, I would love to be part of that if you want to join me in classes. So it's a lot of fun. I like chatting. There's laughing involved. I try my very best to avoid swearing. But sometimes it gets a little frustrating, and we work through those frustrations and come out the other end having learned something and having had a lot of fun. So come take one of my classes. And then 2020 is over. I want to thank every single one of y'all who is watching this video. And I want to thank you for being part of my life this year. It has been tough for all of us, and having weekly moments of fun and talking about knitting and kind of putting the rest of the world on hold while I can just focus on one thing I love has been really good for me. And I hope it has been a moment in your weekly about where you can, just think about something you love, like knitting, and have that be a part of a little bit of normal in your life. And thank every single person who has commented. Thank you to every single person who has joined Facebook and shared a project they're working on, or been a cheerleader cheering on someone else, or helping someone who has a question. Because let me tell you, I don't have all of the answers, because there are things, I don't knit garments, and there are things that I don't have the answers to. And I really am very proud of the community that has developed in the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group. It's a very supportive community, and helping when, you know, I can't always be on the Facebooks. It might seem like it is, and so there are people who pick up the slack when I can't answer the question. And I think that's what a community is. And to everyone who has knit one of my patterns, it's what keeps this going. So, and to my Patreons, people who have chosen to support me on Patreon, I know that not a lot goes on Patreon, but it's what keeps me putting these videos out here for everyone to see. And thank you so much for supporting that. So here is to a new year, 2021. This video, I'm going to keep on watching the comments. If you have any thoughts, ideas, requests, things that we might be able to do in the coming year, please put it in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions about the classes. Ask them. I will do my best to answer them. And I look forward to a whole new year of knitting and videos with all y'all in 2021. Thank you so much.